how's it going? What's up, Trixie? Matthew? D Nice is still on the road. Hey, cool. Brandon, what's up? Jen, what's up? How's it going? How am I sounding? I think I fixed it. Or at least I thought I did. Because I had lost sound the other day, but now I have it back. Tammy! How's it going? D Nice is like, hello, Ms. Monetized. Trixie saying all good. Happy Monday. Sounds good. Trixie saying I sound good. Good. No echo this time. Nerd Report! What's going on? D Nice is saying I'm in Santee Alley right now waiting for my parents. Cool. Cool. Or, yeah, Santee. Besides D Nice, what is everyone up to this Monday morning? Or morning. Oh my god. Evening. I don't know why I said morning. I think I'm still in the morning. Tammy, what's up? Real quick, I wanted to give a quick shout out. I'm not sure if she's in the chat or she'll probably see it on the replay. Kim or K Chiamita. I probably butchered it, but thank you for purchasing something on my Amazon gift list. I got it today, safe and sound, and she says, congrats on achieving monetization. Enjoy your gift. Love your content. Thank you. Just wanted to give you, I know on Instagram I said thank you, but I want to give you another. I sound like a robot. So is it my voice or is it... Cheryl Lee, what's up? Brandon, your dog is probably going to be bouncing off the walls. Guys, I do have an Amazon wish list. D Nice. Well, actually, it's on the screen. If you want to go through my link tree. Trixie saying I sound fine, but she's... Brandon saying it's kind of doubled in 10 light. I thought I fixed it. It's what happens when you turn your computer off and then... I can never get it right. Cheryl's saying I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good too. Yes, I'm doing good. So, Brandon, does it sound like I have an echo? D Nice is saying like playing telephone with two cans and a string, but we understand you. Okay, as long as you guys can understand me, we'll go from there. It's my settings or something, but I had it fixed. Something else is going on. somewhere. D Nice is asking how my day was. Brandon says it has an effect, but I can hear you clearly. Okay, alright. Sounds like you're in a tiled hallway. DF is saying my computer has been possessed. Yes, it has. Like, the settings change when I don't even touch it. D Nice was asking how my day was. It's good. It was busy at work. I had a busy day at work, but right now I'm good. Brandon saying it's cool for Ghost Report. Alright. I mean, it kind of sounds echoey on my end, too, so I don't know. I think it's every time I turn my computer off and turn it back on, it does something crazy. Jen is saying the orbs must be hiding in the computer. Or, yeah, the ghost is messing with my computer. Because I leave my laptop. I don't close my laptop. I just turn it off and leave it. I leave everything connected. So they're coming in here and going, ha, let's mess with her. Let's make her go crazy. Jen is saying, or Lucy is. I have no idea. Maybe. Let's see. Alright, guys. Hopefully this... I was going to show some... I found this TikToker that I wanted to start off with before I went into... I'm going to talk about the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. But before I get into that, I wanted to... I wanted to show some opening of doors. But I wanted to go through TikTok. Do not like my computer for some odd reason. So every time I turn it on, there's something else that goes wrong with it. I have it set, fixed, perfect, dot my I's, cross my T's, turn it on the next day, and it's still doing something weird. So the spirits don't want me to talk. Well, I mean, I guess they want me to talk. It just comes out weird. But what I was going to do, I was going to show some, I start off with a TikTok. And then I was going to talk about the Stanley Hotel. Has anybody been to the Stanley Hotel in Colorado? I haven't. It's a place I've been wanting to go. It's a beautiful hotel. Because I was looking at the pictures of it, and I was like, wow, this is a nice hotel. Cheryl saying I haven't been there. Or should I say hauntingly beautiful? Hold on. Trixie saying I haven't been there, but I've heard of it. It's basically what The Shining is kind of based on. Stephen King had an experience there. I did not find the most haunted TikTok yet. I'm still on the search. The ones where you have to hide underneath the covers. That's how good it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the ones I've shown, the editing's really good. But I want one of those where you're like, you question it. Super haunted. Scares the crap out of you. You don't want to see it again after one playing. Still on the search for it. But I did find something similar. I mean, if it loads. The technology ghosts do not like me today. At all. And I had that set up too. Does not like me today at all. And I was even talking, like, yesterday I was trying to figure out what issues I was having, and I was making funny voices and everything, and it sounded good in the recording, and then when you go, the ghosts don't like me. At all. Give me 1 second. It's a Monday, too. You know how Mondays go. Carly, what's up? Brandon saying he likes the little green guy on my mic. Thank you. My friend got this for me because I was a huge, well, I guess I still kind of am, X-Files fan when I was in high school. I just dated myself, but oh well. Okay, I was going to show the TikTok, but it's not pulling up. And I had it set up before. Like, nothing's pulling up. Like, what's going on? Really? So how's everyone doing? I know I asked some of you already, but while I figure out... D-Nice is like, I got this. I have a feeling I have to come back in and come out, but I don't know if that's gonna mess up the stream. But I literally had this all... It was working before I hit stream. Now none of it is. I'm super annoyed. I am super annoyed. Sorry, guys. Brandon is saying, has everyone hit the like yet? I know I did. What in the world? Like, literally nothing is working. They do not want me to talk about it. I don't know what is going on. I literally, before I started, I had everything set up and it was working. Nerd Report with the $5 super chat. Thank you. For the very first super chat of the evening. Will I figure out what the heck is going on? Now I'm mad. Like nothing's working. Well, you know what? I may just talk to you guys. Hell with this. Nerd Report saying open it on your phone and tell us about it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I can't show it on the screen wherever my phone is. Oh my god. I don't know what I did with my phone now. Hell with it. We got tablet. Trixie, like, I had everything set up and nothing's popping up. Nerd Report saying open with another $5 super chat. Open it on your phone and tell us about it. That is what I'm going to do. I got the tablet because I don't know where my phone is. Go figure. And I'll just read it on my phone. I was going to show you TikTok, but I can't do that. Jin is saying the orbs hid your phone too. Yeah, it probably did. Or I took it with me and I didn't bring it in the other room. Hold on, guys. I'm going to be right back. Because I think my phone's in the other room. So give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm back. I had to get my phone. Sorry about that. I left it in the other room. Because nothing is working. Mistress Meg is like, I heard a door. Alright, Lewis was giving me some tips, but I already looked at all of those. And I had no echo yesterday. And no... Well, you know what? Let me just do this. Alright. Does that sound better or do I still have like an echo? D Nice is like, have any questions, ask away. Yes, ask questions as I set up here because nothing seems to want to work today at all. And while I pull up the article on my phone. Oh, she's saying way better. Okay. find that website. Well, you know what? I can do it. Alright, since I can't show any TikToks, I'll start off with so you're just gonna have to look at me read. Nerd Report saying the sound is way better. Okay, I turned something off. But I think by turning that off, I can't hear anything. Mistress Meg, thank you for the super sticker. You're awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm going to start off with the 12 most haunted hotels in America you can actually stay in. And it's by Travel and Leisure, written by Elizabeth Rhodes. And you could kind of see it on my phone. It's too bad because it had some pictures too. Okay, so it starts off, it goes, reports of mysterious noises and ghost sightings might frighten some travelers, but intrepid ghost hunters know there's nothing more exciting than staying in an allegedly haunted hotel. Across the United States, historic hotels have welcomed guests for decades or even centuries, but not every visitor has checked out. The 12 most haunted hotels in America offer more than a comfortable bed and room service. Spotting the spirits that wander these halls should be on every thrill-seeking tourist bucket list. And with many of these hotels open in time for spooky season, I think this article was written in October. Yes, it was. Spooky season, you could even plan a Halloween getaway to a supposedly haunted destination near you. That is, if you're brave enough. So speaking of the number one hotel that they come with, the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. The Stanley Hotel, well, this is going to talk a little bit about it, but I'm going to go into more depth. In a state park, Colorado earned its place on nearly every list of the most haunted hotels in America, partially thanks to horror author Stephen King. It served as inspiration for the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, and while you might not find a set of terrifying twin girls here, the property reportedly hosts a few spirits of its own. Number 2. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood, California. I've been there. The iconic Los Angeles Hotel opened in 1927, hosting countless stars throughout the golden age of Hollywood, including Shirley Temple, Montgomery Clift, Charlie Chaplin, and many more. A few of the Hollywood Roosevelt's most famous guests might have returned in the afterlife. Marilyn Monroe lived in room 1200 for 2 years at the beginning of her career, and some report seeing her ghostly reflection in the room's mirror. That sounds pretty... I've been there, but just like in the lobby, I guess you could say, but I didn't see anything. But I wasn't there long enough to probably figure out anything. Okay, the number 3 is the Omni Parker House in Massachusetts. One of the longest continuously operating hotels in the United States, Boston's Omni Parker House has seen its fair share of history. It's rumored that the ghost of the hotel's founder, Harvey Parker still roams the halls, checking to make sure guests are enjoying their stay. Ooh, that'd be kind of creepy. They'll talk about hospitality that goes above and beyond. Others report that the spirit of Charles Dickens, who briefly lived in the hotel, may still linger the third floor where he once stayed. I don't know if if I saw Harvey Parker check in if I was doing okay, if that would freak me out or not. I don't know. Okay, the fourth one is 1886 Crescent Hotel and Spa in Arkansas. Originally, I wish you guys could see the picture of the hotel. Maybe you can. Hold on. I don't know if you guys could see that. Let me move all this stuff off the screen here. Yeah, that hotel looks... I mean, it doesn't look haunted. It's like... It looks quaint. Like a relaxing cottage you would go to. Originally built in 1886, the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, was taken over by criminal and entrepreneur Norman Baker in 1937, who turned the property into a hospital and health resort while claiming to have a cure for cancer. He was later jailed for mail fraud, though that was hardly his worst offense. Many people allegedly died under his untrained supervision, and some paranormal experts say the hotel's sordid past caused the spirits of several patients to stick around. The hotel is now a beautiful, expansive retreat. It offers ghost tours and even features images of ghosts spotted at the resort on its website. Let me check that out. That sounds pretty cool. Number 5, the Don Caesar in Florida. Since 1928, the stunning Pink Palace, and it is really pink. It is super pink. The Pink Palace has welcomed guests to St. Pete Beach on the Gulf Coast of Florida, but its eternal guests have a surprisingly heartwarming story. Thomas Rowe fell madly in love with Spanish opera singer Lucinda while in London, but her parents forbade their relationship, leaving the lovebirds heartbroken. Thomas returned to America and built the Don Caesar as a tribute to his lost love, and some say that since his passing, they have seen the couple reunited in death, roaming around the resort. And it says, book a stay and you may spot Thomas and Lucinda wandering the hotel hand in hand. That's actually kind of cool. D-Nice is asking, have I heard the theory about the houses with their grand staircase facing the front door being prone to hangings? I believe the house I'm in now has that layout, hence the hauntings. I heard that if since, the staircase is the heart of the house, and you don't want the staircases facing the front door because it allows spirits or unwanted energies to enter your house. And yes, so yeah, it is something like that. I have heard that. Or haunting, sorry. I have heard that, D-Nice, actually. I guess there's still some houses that have stairs in front of the doorway, but I notice a lot of them don't. But I did hear that. Okay, number 6 is Jekyll Island Club Resort in Georgia. Oh, this one looks like a cool place to go to. Like, it's like a cool, like a little cool place to relax. Once a playground for America's wealthiest families, including the Morgans, Vanderbilts, and Rockefellers, the historic Georgia Resort opened in 1888 as a recreational club. Some say you could still feel the presence of wealthy visitors and hotel workers today. In fact, if you pass by the Sans Souci cottage, you might catch a whiff of cigar smoke as the ghost of financier J.P. Morgan enjoys a few puffs outside his former residence. Trixie's saying her house does. My house doesn't because it's a single story. So I don't have stairs at all. The Equinox, Vermont. The Manchester, Vermont resort has welcomed guests since 1769, and it has a couple of lingering spirits. President Lincoln's family vacationed at the Equinox, and it's said that the ghost of his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, is still spotted around the property. And it doesn't really show what the outside of the hotel looks like. It just kind of shows like a living room, which is kind of crazy. I mean, it's nice. The Pfister Hotel in Wisconsin. The Pfister Hotel opened in Milwaukee in 1893 with elegant interiors and advanced technology for the times, including electricity, individual thermostat controls, and fireproofing, making it one of the most sought-after accommodations in the city. The hotel is supposedly home to a number of spooky sightings. In fact, several LMB players have reported their own personal ghost experiences in the hotel, and some are even too scared to stay there. This place does not look haunted. It does not at all. It doesn't. Number 9. Emily Morgan Hotel, Texas. The beautiful Emily Morgan Hotel in San Antonio, Texas, wasn't always a hotel. The 1924 building first housed a hospital and doctor's offices. Before that, it was near the site of the deadly Battle of the Alamo. It's believed that this history is the reason for the mysterious occurrences that happen throughout the hotel. Some guests have even reported seeing a woman in white wander the halls. There's always a woman in white. And even this place looks like really nice. Brandon saying, is there one in Jerome, Arizona? I haven't gotten to the bottom of the list yet, so I am not sure. And I'm on number 10, so we'll see. Number 10. La Fonda on the Plaza, New Mexico. The beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico hotel has an incredibly rich history. Since 1607, a number of inns have been located on this very site, but a handful of events may be the cause of continued hangings. According to the National Trust for Historic Preservation, the ghost of a judge shot in the lobby, a businessman who gambled everything away at the hotel before jumping down a well, and a bride killed on her wedding night as just a few of the spirits that you may come across during your stay here. Number 11, the Marshall House, Georgia. Savannah. This one kind of looks haunted. It does. This one looks old. Savannah, Georgia is known for being a hotbed of paranormal activity, and the Marshall House is just the place to stay if you want a fully immersive spooky experience in the city. Since 1851, the property was used once as a wartime hospital and twice as a hospital during the yellow fever epidemics. Any hotel with such a history is bound to have a few residual spirits hanging around, and guests have reported seeing ghosts and hearing children running down the halls late at night. D-Nice is asking, if I owned my own hotel, would you deck each room out with creepy dolls, porcelains, time out Raggedy Ann puppets? What would you name it? I don't know what I would name. Oh my god, that'd be so cool. I would stay there. I don't know if anybody would stay there. No, I would have to put haunted, creepy doll, like actual haunted dolls in there. So there'd be activity in my hotel. I would give it some old name. I wouldn't even know what I would name it. Because it would be a hotel of dolls. I don't know. I would have to think about that one, but I would stay there. Okay, number 12, Omni Shoreham Hotel in Washington, D.C. The luxury, I guess this is the last one, so no, there isn't one from Arizona. The luxurious Omni Shoreham Hotel is one of DC's most historic hotels and arguably one of the most haunted. A young girl and a maid both died of mysterious causes in one site during the early 1900s, and some guests have reported bizarre noises with no explanation on the floor where they passed away. And it has like a cool staircase in front of it. I don't know if that's like the front of the hotel or the back of it. But that looks like it's the last one on the list. D. Nice is saying a replica of Dear David. Oh, I don't know about that one. I don't know. Because I would have, if I woke up to Dear David sitting, Dear David on a green chair, that would be cool. But he would be lifelike. He'd look like almost like a reborn doll. Nelly 78 saying dollhouse bed and breakfast. That would work. I like that one. Welcome to the dollhouse bed and breakfast, where every room is full of creepy dolls. We have this one particular room that is haunted. It's said that you hear the pitter-patter of small feet in the middle of the night. I don't know. I'm just going off. I like that name. D-Nice is like perfect. Yeah, it is. For an all-inclusive stay in room 1313. Because I'm going to have a room 1313. Which is considered the most haunted room in the hotel. For only, you know how when they do those infomercials, for only $199. But wait, we'll give you an extra day free. No. Hold on, let me pull up the next article. Give me a second while I find the article. Alright, this one, we're going to delve into the Stanley Hotel. It is the haunted history behind the Shining's Stanley Hotel. It's by Danielle Ryan of Slash Film. It was an article that was well in depth. Most of the other articles were super small. I wanted a good well in-depth one. It starts off, while fans of Stanley Kubrick's adaptation of Stephen King's The Shining might have a love of the fictional Overlook Hotel, King was inspired by a real historically haunted hotel, the Stanley Hotel in Estate Park, Colorado. The Stanley has been embedded in my psyche since childhood, so I can understand King's reaction to the place. It's an imposing, beautiful building that somehow emanates a feeling of wrongness, a bad vibe that's almost impossible to shake even if you're a true blue skeptic. King was so shaken by his stay at the Stanley while he was in Colorado that it inspired him to write The Shining, which went on to be one of the most famous works. Come play with us, Stanley. I love the twins in that movie. The Stanley Hotel sits on a huge foothill nestled in the Rocky Mountains in the tourist town of Estate Park. As a child growing up in a nearby Denver suburb, which is the author, Estate Park was the one vacation my family could afford each year. A place where we could race go-karts and go hiking in the beautiful Rocky Mountain National Park. On our way to whichever tiny riverside cabin we had rented, we would pass the Stanley up on the hill, leering down at us from on high. When my parents explained to me that it was the very hotel that had inspired The Shining, I felt justified in being creeped out. Years later, I would return to the Stanley, take the ghost tour, and spend the night, and its haunted halls have lingered in my memory ever since. Lucky duck. What is it about the Stanley Hotel that leaves its guests so unnerved? Is it just the stories of hauntings and King's association that make people see and hear things that aren't actually there? Or is it truly as haunted as its fictional counterpart? Brandon saying I used to work with twins and they would dress in same on Fridays and mess with everyone in the office. Oh my gosh. They'll be like, no, I'm not that person. Alright, it says the history behind this haunted hotel. According to the Stanley Hotel's website, when inventor Freeland Oscar Stanley arrived in the valley of Estate Park in 1903, he discovered the mountain air helped ease his tuberculosis symptoms. He planned to return to the town every summer until the day he died, but he and his wife Flora Stanley were accustomed to a different lifestyle than what Estate Park could offer. They built the Stanley Hotel, which officially opened in 1909 as a home away from home where they could host friends and other guests. The hotel was designed to be top of the line with electric lights, telephones, bathrooms attached to each room, and a staff of uniformed servants. Stanley Hotel even boasted a fleet of steam-powered automobiles, one of which has been on display at the hotel for decades. By 1917, the tiny hamlet of Estate Park was an official municipality that owed its development to Stanley and his hotel. So that was a big thing for a hotel to have electric lights, telephones, and bathrooms attached to each room way back in 1909. Throughout the hotel's history, there have been reports of ghostly apparitions. When I visit with my family about a decade ago, guests could sign up for a ghost tour that highlighted all of the most haunted rooms in the hotel. Stanley himself is said to wander the halls, most often in the hotel bar. Sightings of his wife, Flora, have also been reported, usually of her playing her piano in the ballroom. Employees and guests both have reported hearing piano music coming from the room and seeing the keys moving. I didn't hear the music or see the keys move, but the ballroom does feel colder the closer you get to the beautiful grand piano. Ooh. D Nice is saying I grew up with identical twins. They would often say things together in unison. Cool, super cool. Super so cool. I don't think I ever... No, I did. I would work with somebody that was a twin, and then the brother would come in, but then I could tell the difference between the two. So they were identical, but I could tell the difference. but I don't think going through school or anything, I didn't have any twins. There was a bunch of people named Lisa, though. D Nice is saying, what if it's one of those grand pianos that autoplay? I don't think so, because the way they describe this hotel, and then the fact that it says that they were accustomed to a different lifestyle. I feel like they made this hotel to be grand. So I would say it's like a nice grand piano. Like a nice one. Room 407 is supposedly haunted by Lord Dunraven. Dunraven? The man who owned the land prior to Stanley. Some guests have reported seeing his face in the window, even when the room isn't booked. Room 418 is haunted by children whose laughter can be heard in the hallways by guests and cleaning crew inhabiting the room. The ghost of a small boy is said to appear outside of room 217, where author Stephen King stayed, and he reportedly saw the child who was calling out for his nanny. Ooh. Brave guests on the hotel tour can stand in the closet in one of the haunted rooms where voices are said to be the loudest. The author volunteered, and while they didn't hear anything besides their own heartbeat, they can definitely appreciate the kind of fear King must have felt when visiting back in 1974. Would any of you guys dare to stand in the closet? What's up? For the record, Your Honor. Happy Monday. I mean, do they like close the closet while you're in there? And is it a dark closet? D Nice is like, oh, I dare. No, I'm wondering if it's a closet where it's in a dark room and they close the door on you. Or if it's a lidded room. But even though I would go, because it's saying you allegedly hear voices. So that'd be kind of cool. The 1911 explosion. There have been several unexplained or spooky accidents over the course of the hotel's history, which only adds to the legend of the building be cursed. On June 25th, 1911, Elizabeth Wilson, the head chambermaid at the 2-year-old hotel, went into room 217 with a lit candle, only to tragically discover there was a leak in the hotel's gas lantern. The candle ignited the gas and there was a major explosion, destroying about 1/10 of the hotel and putting Wilson into a coma. Wilson miraculously survived and continued working at the hotel until 1950. According to some guests who have stayed in room 217, the maid is still working there in the afterlife. Guests have said that they woke up with their rooms straightened up and their suitcases neatly organized. Now that's a friendly ghost. That is, I mean, they woke up, so I guess they didn't hear while it was happening? Because I would think if you would hear like your suitcases moved around, that would wake you up. Nerd Report, thank you for the $2 super sticker. Sorry to hear about that, Brandon. A spooky pet cemetery. Hearts for Brandon. And Nerd Report. Believe it or not all the ghosts in the Stanley are purported. Nerd Report, thank you for the $2 super chat saying Lisa's better YouTuber than I am. Well, technology wise, you're better than me right now. I think the ghost is messing with me. Alright, it says a spooky pet cemetery. Believe it or not, for the record, Your Honor, saying if I woke up to my bags and suitcases moving around, I'd go get new luggage. I'd be so anxious. But I guess it's saying they don't wake up. They just, when it happens, they'll just wake up in the morning and they see their suitcases, organized. I would think you would wake up for that. Brandon saying we need a DJ battle between you two. Alright, it says spooky pet cemetery. Believe it or not all the ghosts in the Stanley are purported to be the humankind. There is a pet cemetery on the property where the owners of the hotel buried their pets over the years, and guests have reported seeing the ghosts of some of the animals buried there wandering the property. Among them are a golden retriever named Cassie and a white cat named Comanche, and they have been spotted all throughout the grounds, including in the hallways and guest room. Funny enough, the cemetery and ghost stories predate King's novel Pet Sematary, which features animals coming back to life after being buried in a cursed cemetery. Cassie and Comanche didn't come back from the dead, but according to some guests, they're still hanging around in some form. It's probably a lot less scary stumbling across a spirit dog or cat than a person, especially given the hotel's history and connection to The Shining. Maybe guests should bring some dog treats just in case. I don't know about that one. I mean, I guess that'd be kind of cool to see, because most people talk about being haunted by people or ghosts. So, I mean, I don't hear too many people saying they're haunted by a ghost dog or cat, so that's kind of interesting. For the record, Your Honor, saying I've had cat ghosts around me before at night purring behind my head. Oh, that is crazy. That is super crazy. Alright, The Shining connection. In the 1970s, the Stanley Hotel was starting to fall into a state of disrepair. But the arrival of a rising author would change everything. In late September of 1974, King and his wife, Tabitha, spent a night at the Stanley Hotel. He recounts the experience on his website. We were the only guest, as it turned out. The following day, they were going to close the place down for the winter. Wandering through its corridors, I thought that it seemed the perfect, maybe the archetypical setting for a ghost story. That night, I dreamed of my 3-year-old son running through the corridors, looking back over his shoulder. Eyes wide, screaming. He was being chased by a fire hose. I woke up with a tremendous jerk, sweating all over, within an inch of falling out of bed. I got up, lit a cigarette, sat in the chair looking out the window at the Rockies, and by the time the cigarette was done, I had the bones of the book firmly set in my mind. King stayed in the book's infamous room 217, turned into room 237 for Kubrick's adaptation. Visitors to the Stanley can purchase room number plates from room 217 to hang in their own home if they dare. King published The Shining in 1977, and it was a huge hit, following the footsteps of Carrie and Christine. The book would be adapted into a feature film by director Stanley Kubrick in 1980. Though King is not a fan of the many changes that Kubrick made, the author set out to help make a more accurate version of his story for a television miniseries on ABC in 1997. Dial tone saying I'm so sick of Stephen King. For the record, Your Honor, saying it was comforting. Yeah, well, even though it was a ghost cat, it's still, whenever they purr, it kind of calms you down. Animals, no matter what, calm you down. Have any of you guys seen the Shining mini series? I think I vaguely remember it. Giving the Shining mini series some authenticity. In the 1997 Stephen King's The Shining miniseries is notorious for a cheesy made-for-TV moment, but it's much more accurate to the author's original story. In addition to the production team working with King in order to get his approval this time around, the miniseries was also filmed at the Stanley Hotel. Kubrick's Overlook was created almost entirely on a soundstage in London, with exterior shots done at the Timberland Lodge on Mount Hood in Oregon. The real hotel that inspired King's work is a perfect backdrop for the terrifying tale, and the Stanley's eerie vibe practically oozed out of the screen. The filming of the miniseries was a big event in a state park, and the author happened to be there for part of it at a Girl Scout event nearby. The author will never forget seeing all of the vans and trucks carrying movie-making equipment going down the tiny estate park main street toward the hotel. The miniseries is flawed, but there's still plenty to love about it, including preserving the Stanley Hotel for all time. I don't remember. I vaguely remember of it. Dial tone's like, no. Nelly78 saying I never heard of it. I vaguely remember it. Vaguely. I may have to revisit it. Is it really haunted? While the author didn't experience anything too ghostly during their own stay at the Stanley, it was impossible to shake the feeling that they were being watched at all times. There are spots of cold that could be the result of the building's ancient bones, or could be spirits making their presence known. It's hard not to be a tiny bit uncomfortable while staying in the Stanley, especially when there's a channel on the TV in every room that plays Kubrick's The Shining on a 24-hour loop. There are also plenty of reminders of the building's creepy connections, including the word red rum scrawled on an attic door. The hotel added its own miniature version of the movie's hedge maze in 2015, so fans of both King and Kubrick's can really get the most out of visiting this historic hotel. One day, the author hopes to visit again and stay in room 217, and maybe then they'll get some truly ghostly stories to share with everyone. So what do you guys think of the Stanley Hotel? Do you think it's haunted? And that was a short article. I mean, here's a picture of it with like the if you guys can see it, hold on. I don't know if you could see it with the maze in front of it. D Nice is like, no, you're a fast reader. No, that's a short article. Let me see if I can find more about the hauntings. Which I did not know. Dial tone's like, let me read it. Okay, they're basically saying Stanley, his wife, in this article, are who haunts it. Oh, it actually gives prices. It's saying day and spirited night tours, 24 a person, daytime, 28 a person, nighttime. Rock climbing and hiking in the Rockies during the summer. Oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind hiking over there. It's a beautiful view. Trixie's been in the chat. She was the first person in the chat. I'm trying to see. Oh, okay. This one says the Stanley Hotel has hosted many famous guests, including the unsinkable Molly Brown, John Philip Sosa, Theodore Roosevelt, the Emperor and Empress of Japan, and a variety of Hollywood personalities. That is kind of cool. No, they pretty much say it's Mr. Stanley and Mrs. Stanley haunt the room. Then Lord Dunraven, who was a previous owner, haunts it. D Nice is asking, do I have a room of beanies? All my hats are nice. Actually, I have so many beanies I lose track of them. Not quite a room full. Like a box full. I mean, maybe 2 box fulls. Probably more than that, actually. I'll go through them like, oh my god, I forgot I had this one. Okay, Nelly78 saying, I stayed in a hotel in Vegas. Alarm kept going off during the night. I didn't sleep the whole night. I have so many ghost stories I can tell. Things moving on their own, kind of stuff creepy. Nelly78, which hotel did you stay at? That is crazy. That's kind of cool. I mean, scary at the same time, but that's kind of cool. D Nice is like, what hotel? That's the Stanley. It is a beautiful hotel, though. It really is. And saying never saw anything paranormal but wanted to, I haven't either. I don't know if I'd be scared or I'd be super excited if I had an experience. Nellie's saying it was off the Strip Hotel. I think it was the Tuscany. D Nice is like, I just came from Forest Lawn, West Covina. As we left the gates, I kept chanting, "You're not invited, don't come with us." Oh, whenever I drive by a cemetery, I'd be like, no hitchhikers. I don't know where that came from, but like every time I drive by a cemetery, I'll be like, no hitchhikers. Julissa, what's going on? Dial tone, what address are you asking for the Stanley Hotel? Sorry guys, I'm like on the actual website for the Stanley Hotel. And I'm looking at all there's like the Stanley experience. The best way to experience the Stanley. They go, the Cascade Suite 207. Book now. The Sunset Suite 213. The Stephen King Suite. I wonder. Oh, call. See, every single room says book now except for 217. It says call reservations to book. Because I think that's the room that everybody wants. I wonder how much it costs to book a room. Well, I'm here. Oh my god, they're all booked. Yeah, seriously, this hotel is like completely booked. Like, look it. I'm messing around, but like how everything's all blacked out. This goes all the way to August 2024 and it's all blatched out. Dial tone's like, I'll meet you there. Trixie's like, every time I go to a graveyard, I tell my friends people are dying to get in there. Jen Decker! If you guys got notified, press 1. Just out of curiosity. Because I know YouTube can be a little tricky. Alice, how's it going? Oh, Matthew saying nice phone case. I looked at the same for my phone, but I just got a Captain America case today. Cool, 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 cool. D Nice is saying, hello everyone coming in. Did you click the like button? It's free. Right, for you guys coming in, I was talking about the Stanley, but it was a super short article, so I'm going to find something else to talk about. Have any of you guys been to the Stanley Hotel that are in the chat? Jen Decker saying mine has aliens and spaceships. That's cool. D Nice is like Google search for long haunting stories. Oh, here you go. 12 real ghost stories that will send shivers down your spine. And this is by Reader's Digest. Authors Lauren Can, I think it is, was written. Well, it was recently written, February 27th, 2023. Watch, it's like super short. Okay, so it says calling on only the bravest and boldest of ghost hunters. I don't know what this is about. I just did Google search. These scary stories are not for the faint of heart. The best ghost and scary stories feel so real, so believable, and so utterly chilling that they virtually guarantee you at least one night, if not more, spent tossing and turning while listening for creaking floors and the sound of ghostly moaning. Of course, that is the paradox inherent in ghost stories. The better they are, the worse you'll sleep at night. This is true even if you're a dyed-in-the-wool supernatural believer. You know the type of person who has memorized details about Halloween's origins, isn't scared to eye some creepy photos, knows the backstory behind Halloween monsters, and spends Friday the 13th reading Ouija board stories. Ouija board stories? Alright. In the spirit of the season, we've rounded up some spooky stories, all of them based on true events that are guaranteed to haunt you. So turn off the lights if you're brave enough and get ready for ghost stories so real and so terrifying that you won't sleep through the night. I hope so. Well, so far I'm liking it. She writes pretty good. All right. This one's called The Little Hands. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Writes reddit.com user patented space hook, recounting a true event. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a family. One night, the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She'd passed away from an aneurysm. After her funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad, who were dating at the time, went with him. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it. My dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought a cat might have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing, and then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what had happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down on the pedals. If that experience sounds thrilling to you, you might like exploring what paranormal experts say the most haunted places in America. Which we kind of have. Little Hands, that's the name of the story, Brandon. Jen Decker's so dramatic. That gave me chills, but it wasn't a terrifying story that I won't sleep through the night for. What about you guys? It's a cool story though. All right, the next one, The Phantom Patient. Trixie saying that's creepy. Alright, the ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, Rig 12. Recounts reddit.com user Zerbo. Nelly78 saying, yes, I've had stuff like that happen to me. No way, crazy. Dial Tone's asking, you've never seen anything unusual? No, Dial Tone, I have never had an experience, unfortunately. Not yet. I mean, I caught an orb on my camera in this office, in my studio here. And then, live, I think it was 2 Mondays ago, live, there was a big knock on the wall that everyone heard, just out of nowhere. And then, other than, like, weird dreams, I've never actually had anything, like, move on me or anything like that. Nothing paranormal yet, I should say. Brandon Torres is like, I wonder what is the world's oldest ghost story. That's a good question. Like, who started with the ghost stories? That's something I'll Google for next time. That's actually kind of interesting. That's like an interesting question to find out. Okay, continuing with the Phantom Patient. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff. That is until I had my own experience with Rig 12. Dial tone saying I've never been outside. No, I've been outside. But I've never had any paranormal experiences. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice, but I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctively heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?" followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight and looked back into the patient compartment where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds. Then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss as if it was leaking. I turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors. No one was there. I checked the oxygen bottles. Neither was open. We didn't sleep much after that. That one was kind of a dud. Trixie saying I reckon it was the Grimm's brothers. Possibility. That story was a dud. D Nice is saying, well, I'm glad we can all share our experiences with you, Lisa. Yes. And I love hearing your story. So if you do have one, post it in the chat here. Because I do love hearing everybody's experiences. That story was a dud. Alice was saying that's scary. I don't know. That kind of didn't scare me. I think the little hand story was better. The next story, the impish ghost. My neighbor Diane and I had a playful poltergeist for years and we called it Billy. So begins reddit.com user Abby's _alibi in their real life ghost story. I'd come home and find something put in a weird place. Milk in a cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, laundry detergent in the bathtub. Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps. And sugar, darn sugar. Every morning my sugar bowl was empty. When I had enough, I would point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane!" Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her. "Thanks a lot," she'd say. He'd gone and pulled shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it. And then, of course, like in this article, there's advertising. If that real life ghost story has you feeling eerie, indulge in some fictional frights with the best Halloween movies on Hulu. Alice is saying that is something I would do. That one's not scary, but more unexplainable. Okay, the next story is the Eerie Attic. Before reddit.com user DigsDaws got down to recounting their scariest of ghost stories about living in a place that was obviously teeming with honest-to-goodness members of the spiritual world, they pointed out the irony of ghost stories that begin with the phrase, "I don't believe in ghosts," but after all, no matter how a ghost story begins, it always hinges on the notion that, come on, of course, we believe in ghosts. A few years ago, I moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, Australia. They went on to recall. It was my first time living on my own. The apartment block had been built in the 30s. I'd been there for a few months when I came home from work one day and went into the bathroom. I saw something strange. A wooden board, which had covered a hole in the ceiling that led to a small attic space, lay fractured in two pieces on the ground. I examined the pieces. The board was an inch thick, and it would have taken Bruce Lee to break it. I thought the landlord had sent someone to work on the attic. I was frozen stiff with fear. Someone is up there for sure, I thought. I emailed pictures to the landlord asking if anyone had been there, with an undertone of annoyance since she hadn't warned me. Her reply read, "Please call me as soon as you are able to." I called, and she explained that her last two tenants had said the same thing happened. She promised to replace the board, and she did. A month later, I woke up one night around 4 a.m. My body was covered in goosebumps. It felt like someone was rubbing his or her hands on me. Everything was silent, but then I heard a dragging sound coming from above my bed. It was as if someone was pulling a sack of potatoes. I froze, convinced someone was up there. There's no way an animal could make that sound. After 5 minutes, I worked up the courage to turn on the lights, armed myself with a cricket bat, and walked to the bathroom. That's when I saw that the new board covering the hole was broken in two. I felt sick. The dragging sound had stopped, but I heard something else, whispering. The sound was clear and coming from the attic. It sounded like children's voices, and I could hear one sentence repeated over and over. "It's your turn. It's your turn." I switched on every light in the apartment to make things feel normal. It was 5 a.m. and dark outside. I watched TV to try to unwind, then a fuse blew. My pet budgie, Dexter, whom I kept in the kitchen, usually never made a sound at night, but he started squawking like he was being strangled. I never heard him make those sorts of noises. He was screaming. I grabbed my car keys, ran out, sat in my car, and waited there until the sun came up. When I saw people walking their dogs, this comforted me enough to go back in. The front door was open, but I figured I might have forgotten to close it when I ran out. I went to the kitchen to check on Dexter, but he wasn't in his cage. I felt sick again. All my windows were closed, so I looked everywhere inside. When I walked to the bathroom, I heard splashing. Dexter was half drowned in the toilet. I took him out, washed him, and dried him. I was so confused. At 8 a.m., I called the landlord and gave her a watered-down version of the night. "Oh, wow, you heard the whispering too?" she said. I stayed in that apartment for another 18 months. I heard the whispering on a few occasions, and twice the board covering the hole in the ceiling moved. Although I live elsewhere now, the landlord recently called. She said that her new tenants have begged to speak with me about some of the stuff that's been going on there. Forget it. It's their problem now. That one's kind of cool. I like that one. Marcel is saying I feel like a little kid listening to ghost stories. Alice is saying that picture of Lewis on the new vlog is scary. Okay. D Nice is like squatters. Julius is saying we just need a campfire. Yes, we need a campfire and some s'mores. So all you hear is like the crackling of the campfire. You'll hear like the sounds of the crickets or frogs, depending on where you're at, with the campfire. Alright, this one's called... And then, of course, it's advertising other things. It goes, "Now that you got the chills, browse these Halloween quotes for more scares." The boy with no eyes. One night, when I was 10, I was woken up by my bedroom door opening. followed by someone sitting on my bed. Reddit.com user KMendo4 recalls of a childhood brush with a very persistent ghostly apparition. I felt my leg grazed and the bed sink under a person's weight. It's just Mom, I thought, and I opened my eyes. It was not my mom. I found an eyeless boy. He had black, empty sockets about my age sitting at the foot of my bed. He extended his hand, and in it was a little box. I was startled but reached out. He pulled back. I reached again and said, "Give it." Then I blinked, and when I reopened my eyes, he was gone, but I could still see the imprint where he had sat on my bed. Fast forward 5 years. My girlfriend came over to do homework. After she finished, she took a nap while she waited for her parents. When they arrived, I tried waking her up. She opened her eyes suddenly, looking up at a corner where the wall met the ceiling. She pointed there and went back to sleep. I shook her again. She came to full consciousness, and I expected what she'd done. And I explained what she'd done. She looked haunted. Up on the wall, I saw a little boy with no eyes. He was there, in a Spider-Man pose, staring at me. I freaked out and told her my story about the same kid. Fast forward another 5 years. I was with the same girlfriend, and we had a 2-year-old. We were living in my parents' house in my old room. My daughter started waking up at the same time every night, and she'd talk. After a while, I noticed she had almost the same conversations every night. I playfully asked her once whom she was talking to. She said, "It's a little boy. He's nice. He's lost and looking for his mommy." My daughter's nightly conversations continued until we got our own place later that year. That one's crazy. Brandon saying Bojack and I will bring the graham crackers for the s'mores and the fire logs. That's crazy. It's like the little boy followed him. All right, the next story. The Red Lady of Huntingdon College. Ooh, it's a red lady, not white lady. Here's a story that dates back to 1910, but almost any student at Huntingdon College in Montgomery, Alabama should recognize it. That's because the events that led up to it are said to have actually happened. As the story goes, in 1910, a young woman who was new to the school was known for her love of the color red. Sadly, she was also known for being strange and a loner. Well, I mean, I like the color red. As the first term got underway, the young woman grew increasingly isolated. Eventually, she took her life by slashing her wrist. Her body was discovered in a red gown, drenched in blood. From then on, students and faculty have been reporting sightings of a young woman dressed all in red. She's appeared all around the college's campus. The figure, dwelling in perpetual isolation, is often cited as a reminder of the importance of being kind to one's peers. Thanks for watching. For the record, Your Honor. Marcella saying Bella Bing Bing will bring the chocolate. Jin is saying I just need some hot chocolate and my blanket and a pillow. And then it goes, now that you've just read one of Alabama's ghost stories, don't miss these scary urban legends from every state. I may do that one next time. That actually sounds interesting. The things you find when you Google. Julissa's like, I'll bring the marshmallows. Alright, this one's the Ashley Street Ghost. Huntington College is just one of many haunted colleges in America, each with its own ghost stories. This next true tale comes from the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. The haunting happened in 1972 at a party hosted by University of Michigan students living on Ashley Street. A 15-year-old girl who probably had no business being there in the first place suddenly felt a strange bone-chilling cold, according to the Michigan Daily. In an attempt to warm up, she went upstairs because heat rises, we guess. That's when things really went awry. One of the walls of the house started moving, and a black shadow approached the girl. Meanwhile, downstairs, posters were spontaneously popping off the walls and falling into a growing pile on the floor. The girl wandered back downstairs where she found herself saying these strange words. The drugs and addiction were my fault, and I accept responsibility for that, but I was not that way deep down inside. I want to apologize to everyone involved for what I have done. What made those words even stranger was that the girl did not do drugs, let alone have an addiction. Her words didn't seem all that strange to the students who lived in the house. Before they moved in, the house had been inhabited by a man with a very serious addiction. The reason he no longer lived there, he had died of a heroin overdose. Has the ghost of Ashley Street made any more appearances? That remains a mystery. Spirit of the trees, what's going on? Yes, I'm still alive. I am reading ghost stories. I spoke about the Stanley Hotel and then went into spoke about the haunted hotels. I think it was the 12 haunted hotels that you can still stay at. And then now I'm reading ghost stories. Okay, this one's the ghost of Frederick Jordan. The Spirit of the trees, thank you for the super chat. You're awesome. She says, hola chica, listening. Dial tone saying I have a hotel in Mount Shasta. Okay, this one's saying the real life ghost story concerns a man named Frederick Jordan who held one of the most lonely and desolate jobs in existence. Jordan was the lighthouse keeper for Penfield Reef Lighthouse off the coast of Fairfield, Connecticut. Built in 1874, the lighthouse was primarily a way of warning ships of a treacherous hidden reef responsible for more than its fair share of harbor accidents. In 1916, Frederick Jordan was the head lighthouse keeper. Tragically, he drowned in a boating accident just before Christmas of that year when he was caught in a gale while rowing home to see his family. Ever since then, lighting and equipment malfunctions in the lighthouse have been blamed on Jordan's spiritual presence. But even more chilling is that keepers of the Penfield Reef Lighthouse often find the lighthouse logbook open to the day Jordan died. And locals have recounted witnessing an unidentifiable figure appearing on the water to help stray boats find their way to safety near the reef. Ooh, that one's crazy. Alice is saying, I think it would be creepy to stay at the Stanley. Yes, it definitely would be. It's a nice hotel, though. Oh, D Nice, that's super cool news. Okay, this is the ghost who came to play. This true ghost story might strike you as more awe than ick, but only until you consider that we really have no idea what our four-legged friends can sense that we cannot. Can dogs see ghosts? Well, there are plenty of dog experts out there, including veterinarians, who will attest to the fact that there's lots of documentation that could support the notion that dogs can sense paranormal activity. As Jesus Armendi DVM, a senior veterinarian of Chewy, put it. And then there's the fact that the story came to Reader's Digest directly from a well-known psychic medium, Christy Robinett, who has a strong record for using her ghost whispering skills to help detectives solve confounding cases. Marlin settled onto her side of the bed and patted Jack's pillow beside her. Robinette told Reader's Digest a year had gone by, but Marlene was still adjusting to widowhood. Maybe it was crazy to think that after 40 years of marriage she would ever adjust. Elmer, the golden retriever, seemed to understand this from the very start. That cold, moonless night when Marlene returned alone from the hospital, Elmer did something he never done before. He jumped up onto Jack's side of the bed and laid his head on the pillow. Jack would never have allowed it, Robinette pointed out. But Marlene didn't shoo him off. Instead, she laid down beside Elmer and let the peaceful sound of his snoring lull her to sleep. The next night was the same, and the night after that. Over the past year, it had grown into a comforting routine, but not tonight. Tonight was the first time Elmer had left Marlene alone in the bed since Jack's passing. But hearing nails clicking on the wood floor downstairs, Marlene recognized the sound of Elmer requesting outsies. With a sigh, Marlene made her way down to the stairs to the foyer, but Elmer wasn't pacing in front of the big oak door. Rather, he was dancing and wagging and wiggling and bowing, just like he used to do when Jack would come home from work. To Marlene, it felt as if Jack had just come home, and Robinette, who is known for her remarkable intuition about these things, believes that it is indeed what happened. Oh, that's a nice story. Sari, how's it going? Alice is saying, my cat saw my boyfriend's uncle who died a couple weeks. The cat was sitting behind my boyfriend staring at the wall. Ooh, I know cats can see things. I mean, dogs too as well. Spirit of the Trees is saying, I didn't have to find you. My algorithm knows that. It is so cool. I like that story. That one was sweet. Okay, this one is the Lost Colony of Roanoke. Roanoke Colony was one of the first European settlements in the United States. Located on an island off the coast of what is now the state of North Carolina, the colony was established in 1587 under the auspices of the first Queen Elizabeth. Soon after, the colony's leader, John White, returned to England from where the settlers came. His trip was meant to be brief. He was only meant to grab supplies and return to the New World. But political upheaval in the form of England's war with Spain prevented White from returning until 1590. It was only 3 years, but a lot had changed when John White returned. In fact, the entire colony, consisting of the time of 115 people, including a newborn baby by the name of Virginia Dare, was gone. Just up and vanished. All that was left was a post onto which the word Croatoan had been carved. Croatoan referred to the name of a native tribe that had been on good terms with the settlers. So White thought the colonists had moved to, oh my god, not that word again. No, I'm sick. Croatoan Island, now known as Hatteras, North Carolina. But they had not. It remains one of the most famous disappearances that no one can explain. What's more, there's never been any evidence suggests that the colony was massacred. Many believed that baby Virginia grew into a beautiful young woman, one who eventually fell into a doomed love affair with a native warrior by the name of Okisko. To this day, she haunts the woods in search of her man, often in the form of a diaphanous white deer, one that always vanishes at dawn. According to Encyclopedia, a state encyclopedia maintained by the North Carolina Government and Heritage Library, longtime residents of the island have no doubt that the identity of the phantom deer is the ghost of Virginia Dare. I am doing good, Sarai. Spirit in the Trees is saying Croatian, Crow, Italian. You had it. Okay. That was a little... Alice is saying animals can see spirits. Definitely. For sure. Okay, this one is The Princes in the Tower. This is the story of two young princes, brothers Edward and Richard, who were imprisoned in the Tower of London to prevent them from becoming king and heir apparent, respectively. In April of 1483, when King Edward the Fourth died, his eldest son, Edward the Fifth, who was just 12 years old, briefly became king. Because of his young age, he had a regent appointed. That regent was the young kid's uncle, known as the Duke of Gloucester. This uncle was known to be deeply resentful that the boys even existed. If it weren't for them, he would have been next in the line of succession. What happened next is shrouded in mystery. Indeed, it is one of the strangest British royal family mysteries. It appears that the young king and his brother, Richard, the Duke of York, were kidnapped and locked away in the Tower of London, after which the Duke of Gloucester declared himself King Richard III. The two young princes were never seen or heard from again, and two small skeletons that were eventually found in the tower are believed to be all that's left of them. Other than the ghostly apparitions, that is. British papers have reported on visitors who claim to have seen the ghostly figures. It is tabloid fodder or proof of the Is it tabloid fodder or proof of the paranormal? That's for you to decide. Tara TJ, how's it going? Sari is saying Roanoke. Tara TJ saying it's nearly 5 a.m. Whoa. Glad you were able to join me. Hopefully I can help you get some Z's before you have to wake up for the day. Okay, the next story is the ghost of the hanged man. One theme that many ghost stories have in common is that they offer a sense of justice in return for a wrongful death. This particularly ghost story, however, offers a somewhat different take. It's about wrongful treatment and death and revenge in the afterlife. On October 13th, 1877, Robert Schmel was hanged after a trial that found him guilty of a terrifying and inexplicable murder spree. The townspeople were filled with so much anger and hatred that they left his body hanging for days. The tale says not one of the townspeople demonstrated even a shred of remorse, let alone forgiveness. Since then, Schmel has been said to haunt the town. Those who have seen him say he appears as a ghostly male figure, but as soon as the figure registers in your mind, it disappears, somewhat maddeningly, into the darkness. D Nice is saying sure. Sure. Sarai is saying that story is sad. Spirit of the Trees is saying 10:50 here. It's early. Sarai is saying is Lewis in the chat. He was. I think he disappeared though. He was earlier. So what did you guys think of those ghost stories? I actually like the one with the dog. Where she became a widow and her dog comforted her. I like that one. D Nice is saying he's always lurking. D Nice is saying very cool. I was gonna say the ghost can't stop me. No, I'm just kidding. Spirit of the Trees is saying we like especially your voice. Well, thank you. I try to be dramatic. Sadie is saying I think that King Richard III was awful. I know. That is. D Nice is like anything with dogs, I have to hold butter. That King Richard one was sad. I was like, sadly though, that's how it was, because everyone wanted the throne. They wanted that power. But it's still sad. Kimberly's saying we will be going to bed with the lights on. Jin is saying, awesome, great reader. I was just getting off work and would have rather been in my bed listening. Alice is saying my laugh is funny. Nellie's saying, yes, lights will be on all night. I'll have my little galaxy light on. Actually, I do. I turn my little galaxy light on and I'll put it on a timer and I'll fall asleep. Because it's super relaxing. And then I'll be like, oh no, my feet are off the bed. Let me bring my feet back in so nobody can grab them. D Nice is saying I have a nightlight Captain Morgan bottle with fairy lights. Oh, that's cool. Spirit of the Trees is saying we love you, Lisa. Thank you. Sari is saying yes, your laugh is one of my favorites. Thank you. Carly's saying lots of lightning here right now. We'll have to be part of the replay crew. Alice is saying her son has a galaxy lamp. I love my galaxy lamp. I love that thing. Sadie is saying, do you have weird sensations after the room? No, not really. I mean, you kind of get, because of the stuff I'm talking about, I kind of get jittery, but not, depending on what I'm talking about. I'll get jittery, but sometimes no. Not yet, at least, I should say. And then, too, I sleep with a sound machine. So, because I have to have sound to sleep. Any last questions, guys, that you want to ask before I call it a night? Oh, D-Nice sent me a photo of her land. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's super cool. That's neat. Tara TJ saying white noise, same. I have to have it. If I don't have it, I don't sleep. I even take it with me to when I go to hotels. Jen Decker saying I sleep in a lot of hotels, so I have to have sound, but hate any form of light. I kind of do that too. Like I'll have like a Spirit of the Trees, thank you for the super chat saying, yep, sending all good vibes and support. Of course, a sound machine. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. D Nice is saying what you got planned for the weekend. Nothing really. Hoping it doesn't rain too bad the next couple of days so we can get some nice weather this weekend. Alice is saying I don't, but I have to have my TV on silent for the light. Sadi is saying, well, I'll pray that you have good sleep. I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I started off with fans being on. I would have to have a fan on all the time, and then I found a sound machine. Game changer. Oh, Alice, I do the nightlight thing with the TV too sometimes. Julius is saying, thank you, Lisa, for the ghost stories. I'm glad you enjoy it. Cheryl saying, I always have a fan running, mainly because of my tintia. I don't know. I know what the word is, but I can't pronounce it. I never could pronounce it. I know what it is, but I can't pronounce it. I always get tongue twisted when I try to pronounce it. D Nice is saying if I don't hear my dad snoring across the way and I know he's home, I can't sleep. Oh, wow. Sadi is saying I had a sound machine that had singing Koki. It was great. Cool. Cheryl saying tinnitus. Thank you. Tinnitus. Thank you. Tinnitus. Now I gotta say that over and over again. Tinnitus. Thank you, Cheryl Lee. I always get tongue twisted with that. I'll still get tongue twisted. Matthew saying I keep a fan on for the noise and just like some wind to keep my face feel cooler. Yeah. I used to do that. I used to have a fan on all the time. In the summertime, I definitely have a fan on all the time. It's soothing. D Nice is asking cuckoo clocks, ERNA, old school clucking, or music. Actually, you know what? That'd be kind of cool. I've never had a cuckoo clock. That would be cool. Alice is saying my boyfriend snoring sometimes put me to sleep. I cannot sleep if someone snores. Carly saying I have a fan on at all time as well, especially since it's already so hot here. I know fans are the best. Matthew's same family used to have those German Black Forest clocks that were everywhere black back then. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, guys, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me this fabulous Monday night. And I will see you on the next one. Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. If Lewis doesn't go on, I think he will go on this week. So, Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And I will see you guys